Welcome, brothers and sisters. My name is Brandon Johnson. I'm a proud member of the Chicago Teachers Union.
Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome, everyone. My name is Delia Ramirez. Me llamo Delia Ramirez, and I'm here as a leader of the Logan Square Neighborhood Association.
Brothers and sisters and brothers from across this city, we are gathered here today to raise our voices because we need to see some real change in the city of Chicago. Do we need to see some change right now?
Hermanos y hermanas, estamos aquí en este lugar, en este momento, porque necesitamos cambio y lo necesitamos ahora. ¡Necesitamos cambio! No los oigo. Do we need change?
And so listen, because we do need to see some change, where do we need to see that change? We need to see some change in the lives of our children, huh? We need to see some change in our neighborhoods.
That's right.
We need to see some change so that housing is actually affordable. We need to see some change because we need quality, publicly funded neighborhood schools. We need to see some change because this city deserves an elected representative school board.
That's right. Nosotros necesitamos cambio y lo necesitamos en diferentes lugares, ¿verdad? ¿Verdad? Necesitamos ver cambio en la vida y el futuro de nuestros niños, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Necesitamos ver cambio en la habilidad de poder tener vivienda que es económica para todos, ¿verdad? Necesitamos poder tener un buro escolar elegido por el pueblo, para el pueblo, ¿verdad? Estamos aquí porque no nos vamos a quedar callados. We are here because we will not be silenced. Friends, amigos, there are many people right now still just waking up on Veterans Day if they had the day off. Hay mucha gente en esta mañana o en este momento que todavía está durmiendo en su día libre. But you know what? Not you. No ustedes. On a rainy day, on a cold day, on a windy day, we are here to take back Chicago. Woo! Con viento o sin viento, con frío o sin frío, estamos aquí a decir Chicago le pertenece a la ciudad, a la gente de Chicago, ¿verdad que sí? Our families need a $15 minimum wage. $8.25 is not enough. Nuestras familias necesitan un mínimo de $15 la hora. $8.25 es ridículo y no es suficiente, ¿verdad? Friends, we're here today from all across the city. From the south side, from the west side, from the north side. And we're here to raise our voices together. We are gathered downtown at the Chicago Temple so that our elected officials and their friends, the corporate officers all around us, can hear us, that we are here and we're here to take back Chicago. Let me hear you. Take back Chicago. Take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
That's right. Now, estamos aquí del norte, del sur, del oeste de la ciudad para levantar nuestras voces juntos y decirle aquí en el centro al concejal y a los oficiales electos que nuestros amigos o los amigos de ellos, corporativos alrededor de ellos, que esta ciudad nos pertenece a nosotros. Vamos a escucharlos una vez más. Let me hear you one more time. Take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
Whose city? Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Whose city? Woo! Woo! I want to hear a little louder. Un poquito más duro. I want to hear you. I want people outside to hear us this afternoon. Let me hear you a little louder. A little louder. I want to hear your applause. I want to hear your screams. We're taking back Chicago. Well, friends, amistades, we're here to hear from some amazing speakers. You're in for a treat. From all corners of the city. And then we're gonna take it to the streets. Are you ready? ¿Están listos? So today is Veterans Day. And we wanna honor our veterans and their families. Here to help us do that is Vince Emanueli. Let's give him a big round of applause. Hoy es el día de los veteranos y para poder darle honra vamos a escuchar de Víctor Emanueli.
Thank you for being here.
Gracias por estar aquí.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago and northwest Indiana.
Crecí en el sur de Chicago, en el noroeste de Indiana.
My family is composed of immigrants from Italy and the former Yugoslavia.
Mi familia es de Italia y de Yugoslavia.
Indeed, we should be celebrating immigration, not demonizing it.
Tenemos que estar celebrando inmigración, no demonizarla.
After coming to the United States, my ancestors worked on railroads, steel mills, and manufacturing plants.
Después de venir a los Estados Unidos, mis ancestros trabajaron en las vías del tren y fábricas.
They strongly identified with the working class and they were proud to be members of unions.
Se identificaron con la clase media y fueron miembros de uniones.
Living wages, safe workplaces, health and retirement benefits are human rights, not privileges.
Beneficios de salud, salarios decentes son derechos humanos, no privilegios.
Many of my family members are veterans, myself included, and many veterans are working class.
Muchos de mis familiares son veteranos, yo también, y muchos de los veteranos somos de la clase baja.
However, my experience in Iraq taught me about the brutality of war.
Mis experiencias en Irak me enseñaron de la brutalidad de la guerra.
It taught me that our government and business elites were willing to sacrifice the lives of young Americans and innocent Iraqis.
Me enseñó de que nuestro gobierno y los empresarios ricos estaban dispuestos a sacrificar nuestras vidas
for private interests and geopolitical power.
Por intereses privados y poder político.
The injuries, both physical and psychological.
Las heridas psicológicas y físicas.
The violence, the death and destruction.
La violencia, muerte y destrucción.
Has devastated lives from Afghanistan to Libya and Iraq, with millions displaced and killed.
Ha devastado las vidas de Irak hasta Libia con millones muertos.
Let me be very clear this Veterans Day. The primary victims of wars abroad are those we occupy, bomb, drone strike, torture, and brutalize.
Las víctimas son los países que invadimos y utilizamos con bombas.
Here at home, my veterans are killing themselves at a rate of 24 per day.
Aquí en ese país, veteranos están matando ellos mismos, 24 veteranos al día.
Like Vietnam, there have been more Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who've killed themselves upon returning home than died in the combat zone.
Como en Vietnam, hay más veteranos que se han suicidado que han muerto así que en lugar en la zona de combate.
A veteran commits suicide every 65 minutes in the United States, with over 30% of veterans having considered suicide, myself included.
En Estados Unidos, cada 65 minutos veteranos se suicidan, con un 30% de todos los veteranos pensando en suicidarse.
However, America's wars abroad also have a devastating impact on those living at home.
Las guerras que hacemos a través del mar tienen un impacto en los que viven aquí en casa.
As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. noted, every bomb that drops on Vietnam explodes in the streets of America.
Como Martin Luther King dijo, cada bomba que explota en Vietnam explota aquí en casa.
As schools, mental health facilities, and homes are closed.
Escuelas, clínicas de salud son cerradas aquí en casa.
Trillions are spent on the wars abroad.
Millones de dólares son gastados en guerras a través del océano.
For example, the Illinois budget deficit is $45 billion.
La deuda externa de Illinois es 45,000 millones de dólares.
Yet since 2001, Illinois taxpayers have paid $72 billion for the wars in Iraq and
Y
Afghanistan.
desde el 2001 todos hemos pagado impuestos de 73 mil millones de dólares en las guerras de Irak y en Afganistán.
Let us be very clear here today. There is no separating U.S. militarism and wars abroad with economic austerity at home.
Hay que ser claros de que no hay forma de separar las guerras y una opresión económica aquí en el país.
The U.S. can either try and dominate the world, or it can take care of its people at home.
Los Estados Unidos puede atacar otro lugar o puede tomar cuidado de la gente que vive aquí.
It cannot do both, and in the meantime, everyone suffers from U.S. militarism.
No puede hacer las dos y en el medio tiempo todos sufren de la guerra.
So this Veterans Day, let us remember that veterans, working class Chicagoans, Iraqis, Afghans, Libyans, our interests are one and the same, and we must stand in solidarity together in these struggles.
Recordemos de que nuestros intereses son juntos con los civiles de Afganistán, de Libia y los veteranos y tenemos que trabajar juntos por esos intereses.
Thank you for your time, brothers and
Muchas
sisters.
gracias, hermanos y hermanas.
That's right. Come on. Support our veterans. They're risking their lives across this country, across this world. Before we move on, listen, if you have not filled out your cards, make sure those cards are filled out. We'll collect those on our way out. Come on, one more time. Let's make Vince feel real good.
I'm a little shorter than Brandon. Antes de continuar, si no han llenado ya su tarjeta postal, por favor háganlo. Hay gente atrás que está distribuyéndolos y asegúrense de entregarlo de regreso. Gracias.
Wow, who's in the room? Let's see. Who's in the room? Looking across this audience here, we're looking at all the wonderful neighborhoods that are here. And representing these neighborhoods, we have some great organizations with us right now. Come on, let's see. Make some noise here. Action Now. Brighton Park Neighborhood Council. Bronzeville Alliance is here. The Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. The Chicago Housing Initiative. The Chicago Teachers Union is in the house. Chicago Votes is here. Enlace Chicago. Illinois Hunger Coalition. Jane Addams Senior Caucus is here. The Hope Center is here. Iraq Veterans Against the War. Kenwood Oakland Community Organization.
Logan Square Neighborhood Association in the house. Metropolitan Tenants Association. Woo, where you at? One Northside, where are you? Woo! People for Community Recovery. Woo! Pilsen Alliance, where are you? That's right. Restaurants Opportunity Council, where you at? All over the place. SEIU Healthcare! And Southside Together Organizing for Power, where you at, Swap? Woo!
Come on, one more time. Let's put our hands together for this broad-based coalition that's being organized. Chicago, you're in a moment. 2010, we let it get away from us. 2011, we let that get away from us. But 2015, the black, brown, white coalition from the south side to the north side and the west side will take back Chicago. Come on, take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
Now. En el 2011, en el 2012, en el 2013, esos presupuestos y de una manera u otra nos han hecho muchas injusticias, nos han cerrado escuelas, han hecho muchas cosas, pero para el presupuesto de 2015 se acabó. Para nosotros en este momento, sea las personas afroamericanas, latinos, blancos, asiáticos, estamos todos juntos en esta batalla nosotros. We're taking back Chicago.
Let me ask you a quick question. Is $8.25 enough for a family to survive?
Déjame preguntarte algo. $8.25 la hora. ¿Eso es suficiente para poder vivir?
If you're working 40 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty.
Si estás trabajando 40 horas a la semana, no deberíamos vivir en pobreza.
Next, we're going to hear to talk about why we need a real livable wage in Chicago. Miss Adavesta Sanders from Action Now.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Alvesta Sanders, and I'm a proud member of Action Now.
Mi nombre es Alvesta Sanders y soy una miembro de Action Now.
I'm here to announce a historic victory on behalf of working families.
Estoy aquí para anunciar una victoria historial de las familias trabajadoras.
On Election Day, 2 out of 3 voters approved raising the minimum wage on the state's ballot referendum.
En el día de elecciones, 2 de cada 3 votantes aprobaron alzar el saldo mínimo en el referéndum del estado.
Our politicians heard loud and clear that Illinois voters want a raise and they want it now.
Los políticos nos escucharon claro de que queremos un aumento y lo queremos ahora.
Raising the minimum wage will put money in the pockets of over 1 million working people in the state, people who are struggling to get by on $8.25.
Alzar el saldo mínimo va a poner más dinero en los bolsillos de más de 1,000 millones de personas en el estado, para gente que está durando trabajando en $8.25 la hora.
As a mother and a resident of Inglewood, I know how badly working families need a living wage. No one who works a full-time job should have to struggle to put food on the table or to live in a homeless shelter.
Como residente de Inglewood, yo sé qué tan difícil es sobrevivir en un saldo mínimo. Nadie que trabaja más de 40 horas debería que estar en problemas de no poner comida en la mesa.
I want the American dream to be a reality again. I don't want my grandchildren to grow up in a world where they're forced into minimum wage jobs. That is why raising the minimum wage is most important to me.
Yo quiero que el sueño americano sea una realidad. No quiero que mis nietos tengan que ser forzados a trabajar en un trabajo de salario mínimo. Por eso aumentar el salario mínimo es lo más importante para mí.
In the coming weeks, our elected officials in Springfield will have to decide whether to heed our call and our vote to raise Illinois' minimum wage. They can and they must act now. We have waited long enough.
En algunas semanas, los representantes de Springfield van a decidir si van a aumentar el salario mínimo o no. Ellos pueden y deben escucharnos ahora.
Winning the referendum is a huge victory, but there is still more work to do. We need to let our politicians know that working families will be watching to make sure the minimum wage increase is passed quickly.
Tenemos que asegurarnos de que los políticos nos escuchen. Debemos que hacerles saber de que nosotros vamos a estar viéndolos, asegurándonos de que el salario mínimo pase rápido.
If we keep knocking on doors and organizing, we can only get stronger and more powerful.
Si seguimos tocando puertas y organizando, nada más nos podemos ser más fuertes y más poderosos.
I'm excited to continue to stand together and fight for the human right of a fair minimum wage and a democracy that works for working people. I believe that we will win.
Estoy orgullosa de estar aquí y creo que tenemos que luchar por el derecho humano de un salario decente y yo sé que vamos a ganar.
That's right, we're going to win. Vamos a ganar. You heard it, brothers and sisters. We won the vote to raise Illinois' minimum wage. But now we need to make sure that our representatives in Springfield do the right thing. Escucharon que ganamos para que pudieran subir el mínimo en el estado de Illinois. Ahora nosotros tenemos que hacer nuestro trabajo para que los que están electos en Springfield también hagan su trabajo, ¿verdad que sí? Well, to do that, will be headed down to Springfield next week on November 20th to remind them of their responsibility to 1 million Illinois families, their responsibility to raise the wage and raise it now.
Woo!
Para poder hacer eso, nosotros noviembre 20 vamos a estar yendo a Springfield para recordarlos la promesa que le hicieron a 1 millón de personas que van a alzar el mínimo. Ellos y lo van a hacer ahora. So who's going to Springfield with us to raise our voice to say raise the minimum wage now? Let me see those hands up.
¿Quién va a ir a Springfield para hablar con los políticos para que alcen el saldo mínimo?
¿Quién va a alzarlo? Vamos.
No, pues levanten la mano, pues.
Raise your hand. Be ready. Be ready. Well, it's that time of the year when Ram presents his budget to the city. Boo. Boo to him, not to the budget. We're here to say that we will not forget. Friends, we will not forget what he has done and what he has taken from us. In the last 3 budgets, he has been taking from us schools, he has been taking from us housing, he has taken from our communities, and we are saying no more. En unas semanas el alcalde va a estar presentando su presupuesto y ya no estamos cansados de todo lo que nos ha quitado. Y en esta vez vamos a decir que eso se acabó, que en este momento ya no dejamos que nada ni nadie que está en el gobierno, en el centro, dicte las escuelas, la vivienda y los trabajos de nuestra comunidad, ¿verdad que no? So hear about that. I want to introduce to you today Nadena Carter from Southside Together, Organize for Power. Give her a big round of applause.
If you close my clinic, I will die!
Si cierran mis clínicas, moriré.
4 weeks ago, another soldier died in the fight for adequate mental health services for all people living in the city of Chicago.
4 semanas ya otro soldado murió peleando por servicios de clínica mental para todas las personas viviendo en Chicago.
Sheriff Dart speaks of the thousands of mentally ill incarcerated in Cook County Jail.
Sheriff Dart habla de todos los miles que tienen una enfermedad mental que han sido encarcelados en la cárcel del condado.
Now let me speak to you of the more than 500 mentally ill people who committed suicide in 2002 without notice.
Ahora déjenme decirles de que más de 500 personas con enfermedades mentales cometieron suicidio en el 2012 sin aviso.
Who may have been saved if mental health treatment had been available.
Que pudieran haber sido salvadas si tratamiento mental hubiera sido disponible.
But 6 mental health clinics were closed that year.
Pero ese año 6 clínicas mentales fueron cerradas.
Their numbers, they continue to grow.
Los números continúan creciendo.
Every day, mentally ill people die from stress and neglect and the lack of treatment.
Cada día personas con problemas mentales mueren del estrés, del neglicismo y de que no hay tratamiento.
We urge the City Council to take steps to address the mental health crisis in the city of Chicago.
Nosotros demandamos que el Concilio de la Ciudad tome pasos para asegurar que quitemos la crisis de salud mental en la ciudad de Chicago.
They need to reopen the 6 closed mental health clinics.
Número 1, necesitan que abrir las clínicas mentales que cerraron.
Join at least one Medicaid provider network.
Hacer una red de proveedores de Medicaid.
And substantially increase funding and staffing, including psychiatrists, for the 2015 city budget.
Incrementar el presupuesto para más doctores y psiquiatras para el presupuesto del 2015.
There are no full-time psychiatrists in any of the city's public mental health clinics.
No hay psiquiatras permanentes en ninguna de las clínicas mentales en la ciudad.
Please do not let any more soldiers die from the lack of mental health treatment.
Por favor, no dejen que más soldados mueran porque no hay tratamiento.
And we will never forget, in 2015, we won't forget the clinics being closed.
Y no vamos a olvidarnos en 2015 las clínicas que ya han sido cerradas.
We won't forget the libraries being cut.
No vamos a olvidarnos las bibliotecas que están cortando.
And we will not forget the 50+ schools that have been closed under this administration.
Y no nos olvidamos de las 50 escuelas que han sido cerradas por medio de esta administración.
From the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, make her feel real good, Miss Irena Jackson.
Good afternoon, Chicago.
Buenas tardes, Chicago.
My name is Irena Jackson. I am a leader with the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization and an alumnus of Dyer High School in the Bronzeville community. And I am here to stand with you in support of an elected representative school board.
Mi nombre es Irena Jackson, soy de Coco y estoy aquí apoyando un buró escolar elegido por el pueblo.
In the Bronzeville area, CPS has closed or turned around 15 schools over the same number of years.
En el área de Brownsville, el buró de escolar ha cerrado 5 escuelas en el periodo de los mismos años.
In fact, CPS has forced an action on more than 150 schools during the same time period that has resulted in the further destabilizations of communities of color.
En 4 años, el buró escolar ha tomado acciones para desestabilizar la comunidad de esa área.
CPS policy hurts children and communities.
La política del buró escolar daña a los niños, a nuestros niños y a nuestra comunidad.
Diet, as has many schools across Chicago and the country, has been under-resourced and destabilized for decades.
La escuela Dyer, como muchas escuelas en Chicago, no ha tenido el suficiente presupuesto que necesita.
And is currently the subject of a federal Title VI civil rights complaint.
Y actualmente está siendo parte de una demanda federal.
The 13 students remaining at Dyer High School are taking a majority of their classes online, including gym.
Las 3 escuelas que están ahorita en Dyer High School están tomando todas sus clases, la mayoría de sus clases en línea, incluyendo educación física.
They only have 2 teachers, no AP classes or after-school programs. Chicago needs an elective representative school board.
Nada más tienen 2 maestros, no clases avanzadas, no programas después de la escuela. Chicago necesita un buró escolar elegido por el pueblo.
In 2012, the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization worked with some of the groups represented here today as a member of Chicagoans Organized for Democracy and Education to get an advisory referendum for an elected representative school board on the ballot.
En el 2012, Coco trabajó con muchos grupos que están aquí hoy para asegurar de que haya un referéndum en el voto del 2015 para tener un buró escolar elegido por el pueblo.
The results were clear from 327 precincts in 35 wards across Chicago. 87% were in favor of an elected representative school board.
Los resultados fueron claros, 87% de la población quiere un buró escolar elegido por el pueblo.
We need to use this referendum as an opportunity to engage our neighbors, families, friends, and others to come out to vote and work with us to pressure the Illinois State Legislature to heed the demands of their constituents.
Necesitamos asegurarnos y usar este referéndum para decirle a nuestros familiares y a nuestros vecinos de que voten en el 2015 y que ayuden a trabajar con nosotros para presionar a nuestros representantes a que hagan las demandas del pueblo.
To allow Chicagoans the same right the residents of every other city and town in the state enjoy, the right to elect the people who run Chicago public schools.
Para que nos dejen a Chicago que tengan el mismo derecho de todas las ciudades en el resto de Illinois, el derecho de elegir quién nos representa en el buró escolar.
And to remind our elected officials that they will be held accountable one way or another.
Y recordarle a nuestros representantes que son responsables y que nosotros los vamos a hacer responsables de alguna manera u otra.
That's right. Chicago, are you ready for an elected representative school board? Let me hear you. Are you tired of CEOs directing the future of our kids' schools? Then the time is now. The time is now. How many of you have signed a petition to let us vote on having an elected representative school board? Let me see, how many of you? Up there?
¿Cuántos han firmado una petición para que tengamos un buró escolar elegido por el pueblo?
I'm just gonna be honest, there's a lot of hands I didn't see go up there. And so that means that a lot of you today are gonna be signing the petition so that we have an elected representative school board. That's right.
Firmen la petición para tener un buró escolar elegido por nosotros.
That's right. Let me tell you something. My voice is nearly gone. I don't feel physically really well, but nothing will stop me from standing here. Nothing will stop you from being here. Mi voz se me está yendo, no me siento muy bien, but the impact that the decisions here downtown are having in our children, in our families, in our community are so great that we are not stopping until we see and we take back Chicago. That's right. Woo! El impacto que esta gente en el centro está teniendo entre nosotros es tan grande que enfermos o no enfermos, que se vaya la voz, caminaremos y gritaremos hasta no poder que esta ciudad es de nosotros. That we deserve good jobs. That we deserve to be able to live in the city, to work in the city, and to have schools in our city. That's right. So, Nataki Rhodes from Rock, tell me why we need $15 minimum wage. Woo! Dino.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Up top, I see you. Everyone in the back, I see you. Hey! Thanks for coming out, everyone. Today, we have a lot of issues to discuss, but the more important issue is $15 an hour minimum wage. With Restaurant Opportunity Center. I've been working in the restaurant industry for over 10 years now. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a granddaughter of a veteran who's now deceased, and a niece of a veteran who stands with me now today. I am here today because the City Council is considering passing a minimum wage bill that will leave out temp workers and workers once again. There are over 220,000 temp workers in Illinois. Is that right to pass a bill that ignores so many temp workers?
Mi nombre es Nakari Rhodes.
I'm sorry.
Soy una líder con el Centro de Oportunidades de Restaurantes, soy trabajador de propina, he estado en esa industria por 10 años y estoy aquí para hablar porque el Concilio de la Ciudad está considerando pasar una ley que va a dejar fuera a todos los que trabajan por propinas, como los meseros. Hay más de 220,000 trabajadores de propina en Illinois y no está bien de que nos ignoren cuando hay tantos trabajadores.
All right, sisters and brothers, the City Council is trying to silence us.
El Concilio de la Ciudad está tratando de callarnos.
Yesterday, I and others, Action From Now, Restaurant Opportunity Centers, we sat for 3 hours at the City Councils to speak. And who did they let speak?
Ayer yo y líderes de Action Now fuimos a la Junta Colectiva de la Ciudad por 3 horas para hablar en apoyo de un salario de $15. ¿Pero a quién dejaron hablar?
They let all the corporations speak.
A todas las corporaciones.
They did not allow the workers.
No dejaron que los trabajadores.
They did not allow the people that stands for the people.
No dejaron que la gente que lucha por la gente.
They did not allow any of us to speak yesterday.
No dejaron a ninguno de nosotros hablar ayer.
So, I ask you, when we have city council's meetings, please come out. We need your voices.
Por eso les digo que cuando tengamos juntas de la ciudad, vengan, porque necesitamos de sus voces.
Chicago is a service city.
Chicago es una ciudad de servicio.
The mayor and all aldermen love being served from casual to fine dining.
El alcalde y los concejales todos quieren ser servidos en cenas casuales y finas.
But they just want to pay us, me, all my tip workers, co-workers, $4.95 an hour, or as the mayor put it, $5.95 an hour. That ain't right.
Pero quieren pagarnos a todos los meseros $4.95 la hora, o como el alcalde dijo, $5.95 la hora. Eso no es justo.
Tip workers want one fair wage and no separate lower wage.
Todos nosotros queremos un presupuesto, un salario decente y no separado.
We cannot continue to let corporations profit while we tip workers work. Workers are suffering, standing on our feet all day, serving, bartending, and dishwashing.
No podemos dejar que las corporaciones se aprovechan mientras nosotros hacemos el verdadero trabajo haciendo meseros o atrás de bares.
Don't let the mayor, the Illinois Restaurant Association, the Illinois Chambers of Commerce, the Illinois Retail Merchant, the corporation that's holding us down, don't let them continue to hold tip workers and workers all across Chicago down.
No continúen dejando al alcalde y a todas las corporaciones aprovecharse de nosotros.
The restaurant is the only industry where employers rely on customers to pay their employees. That means servers have to rely on customers to make a living. That ain't right.
Los restaurantes son los únicos que pagan menos a los meseros. Eso significa que los meseros deben que recaer en la clientela que paguen sus salarios. Eso no es justo.
Where does the mayor stand? Where does Alderman Tooney stand? Do they stand with us, the people, or do they stand with them, big money?
¿Dónde es que el alcalde y los concejales, qué es lo que ellos opinan? ¿Ellos apoyan a nosotros, al pueblo, o al dinero grande?
$13 an hour is a step in the right direction, but it doesn't do enough. It doesn't cover tip workers. It only leaves tip workers at $5.95 an hour.
$13 es un paso en la dirección correcta, pero no es suficiente. Y nos deja a todos los meseros aparte en un salario de $5.95 la hora.
We're calling on the mayor, the city council, to pass a $15 minimum wage for tip workers and workers all across Chicago.
Demandamos que el concilio de la ciudad y el alcalde pasen un salario mínimo de $15 la hora para todos los trabajadores aquí y en Chicago.
Repeat after me. One fair wage.
One fair wage.
One fair wage. One fair wage. Thank you.
Wow, one fair wage, it makes sense. We'll never be defeated. What? What? United.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido
now hear from you. We want $15 an hour and we want it now. Listen, we only have 2 more speakers left, but we have to make sure we talk about a very important issue, and that's ensuring that we actually have affordable housing in the city of Chicago.
Solo nos quedan 2 personas más que van a hablar en esta tarde, pero tenemos que hablar de otra conversación y otra situación muy importante y critical en nuestra ciudad, y es vivienda económica.
For the last several years, this administration has been sitting on vouchers. We have 20,000 homeless students in this city alone, and this mayor refused to act to ensure that families actually have somewhere to live.
That's right. En los últimos años, CHA ha tenido millones de dólares sentados en una cuenta de banco mientras miles de nuestros niños están durmiendo en carros, en albergues, cuando pueden tener su propia vivienda esta Navidad. Eso no es correcto.
To speak about affordable housing, let her feel real good from the Chicago Housing Initiative, Mary Nelson.
Hi, I am Mary Nelson, and I am a leader from Chicago Housing Initiative.
Mi nombre es Mary Nelson y soy una líder con Chicago Housing Initiative.
I had been homeless from 2011 to 2014. During that time, I signed up for every housing wait list available. It took me 3 long years to finally find a place. It was the longest 3 years of my life.
He sido desamparada desde 2011 hasta este año. Durante ese tiempo me he enlistado en las listas de espera para vivienda. Me tomó 3 años para encontrar un hogar. Esos fueron los 3 años más largos de mi vida.
To know that CHA has $430 million in extra cash just lying idly that could be used to place people in housing makes my stomach curl.
Sabiendo que la actividad de vivienda en Chicago tiene más de 430 millones en dinero extra, nada más sentados sin hacer nada, y causando que mucha gente no tenga vivienda, me hace que mi estómago dé vueltas.
It costs the CHA only $9,000 to house a family for 1 year.
Le cuesta a CHA solamente $9,000 para tener un hogar a una familia por cada año.
This means the CHA could be housing over 10,000 more families each year than they have.
Eso significa que ellos pueden tener hogares para 10,000 familias más de las que ahora tienen.
The mayor controls the CHA. He appoints the CEO and board. Yet, CHA sits on thousands of vacant public housing units and unused vouchers.
El alcalde controla la actividad de la autoridad de vivienda de Chicago. Él dice quién es el director y el buró. Pero aún así, la autoridad de vivienda de Chicago está sentada en miles de viviendas públicas que están sin usarse.
Why, Mayor Rahm, are you allowing people to die on the streets? I was one of those people. How did you let my soul linger in the shelter so long when CHA has all this money?
Entonces, ¿por qué, alcalde Rahm? ¿Por qué dejas de que miles de personas mueran en las calles? Yo era una de esas personas. ¿Por qué dejaste que mi alma estuviera en las calles y en viviendas cuando la autoridad de vivienda de Chicago tiene todo este dinero?
How dare you let over 10,000 families suffer for no reason?
¿Cómo se te ocurre dejar a más de 10,000 familias sufrir sin ninguna razón?
This year, CHA finally released 3,000 more vouchers than ever before because of our people power and organizing.
Este año la autoridad de vivienda de Chicago ha dado más de 3,000 vales para viviendas que antes. Eso es por nuestro poder, por el poder del pueblo y nuestras organizaciones.
But we need permanent change.
pero necesitamos un cambio permanente.
Mayor Ron, we call on you to support the Keeping the Promise ordinance, which would give City Council more oversight power to hold CHA accountable.
Alcalde Ram, demandamos su apoyo para la ordenanza Keeping the Promise que le daría más poder al concilio de la ciudad para ser responsable a la autoridad de vivienda de Chicago.
Repeat after me. Mayor Ron, don't block the change to end homelessness in Chicago.
Mayor, don't block this change to end the homelessness in Chicago.
You all ready to march?
¿Están listos para marchar?
Streets.
¿Están listos para ir a las calles? ¿Están?
We're going to be marching right now past the Chicago Board of Trade and the offices of Loop Capital.
Are you feeding the squirrels? Our city! Our city!
aquí, me llamo Dolores Castañeda, soy de la Villita, soy activista en la comunidad y también soy parte de Santa Inés, de Padres Ángeles y de Enlace.
Thank you for being here. My name is Dolores Castañeda. I live in Little Village. Little Village! I'm part of Enlace.
Soy madre de 4 hijos. Una de mis hijas fue impactada por una bala. Gracias a Dios ella está bien, está haciendo su doctorado en la Universidad de Champaign. Lo que pasa en la comunidad cuando alguien muere en las calles, siempre tenemos a quien culpar, siempre culpamos a los padres. ¿Qué clase de padres son? Pero muchas veces los padres tienen que trabajar 2 trabajos y descuidan a los hijos. También en la comunidad no tenemos recursos, no tenemos centros para los jóvenes, no tenemos absolutamente nada. En mi comunidad hay 8.400.000 personas que viven en la comunidad y solamente tenemos un parque y eso no es justo.
I'm a mother of 4.
I know what happened.
All right, scream it out loud, Pablo.
I'm a mother of 4. One of my daughters got shot. The violence in our communities are perpetrated by the low resources that we're given.
No es es justo que en nuestra comunidad no tengamos nada para esos jóvenes. ¿Cuántos jóvenes tienen que morir en nuestra comunidad para que nos hagan caso? Yo le hice este póster al mayor cuando era Daily el mayor en 2008. Nada ha cambiado. En este póster estamos viendo niños jugando en los parques, en agua sucia. Estamos viendo altares de jóvenes que han muerto. Estamos viendo jóvenes jugando en los salis en nuestra comunidad. Sentimos que ya estamos cansados y que tenemos que, estos políticos tienen que escucharnos y hacer un centro comunitario donde esos jóvenes desarrollen sus talentos, donde esos jóvenes puedan experimentar la pintura, la música. ¿Cómo vamos a saber que nuestros hijos tienen talentos cuando no los exponemos a ningún tipo de nada?
The pain that a mother feels when one of her children is shot is unbearable. I made this poster for Mayor Daley, and since then nothing has changed. All of the resources that our community gets are low. The violence is not dealt with. We need programs that can give our children the things that they need, like music, art, education.
En nuestra comunidad, a mi vecina le mataron su hijo hace 8 meses. Solamente lo que dicen, no, pues la comunidad es así. Nosotros somos una comunidad invisible donde nadie quiere escucharnos y necesitamos que todos nos unamos porque todos somos responsables. We responsible for these children, the whole community, the whole city, the whole nation. Not only the parents. Everybody. Only sometimes we say, oh, it's not my community, that's okay, but we are affected for these children to die in the street. It's not fair for us to see the young people die in the street like nothing.
Enough is enough. Thank you. Enough is enough. 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 That's right. We're here today to say that enough is enough. We will not let our city be run by the corporations or the politicians who sell our neighborhoods off piece by piece. No vamos a dejar que las corporaciones como las que están aquí o los políticos continúen vendiendo nuestros vecindarios. Whose city is this? Our city! Whose city? Okay, so now I'm going to have with you. Ahora tengo con ustedes the Pilsen Alliance, from Pilsen Alliance, Eva Perez. A big round of applause for Eva.
Good afternoon. My name is Eva Perez, and I'm a resident of Pilsen and a member of the Pilsen Alliance.
Mi nombre es Eva Pérez y soy una residente de Pilsen y una miembro del Pilsen Alliance.
We are here because banks are taking our lives away. First they take our homes, our neighborhoods, and then they also want the money from our children.
Estamos aquí porque los bancos toman nuestras vidas. Primero nuestras escuelas, nuestros hogares, nuestros vecindarios y ahora también quieren el dinero de nuestros hijos.
¡No se vale!
While children lose their schools, their teachers, their programs, corporations like Loop Capital continue to make millions of dollars off the Chicago Public Schools and the city of Chicago. Every year the city pays out $72 million to cover losses in toxic swap, deals agreements entered between banks such as Loop Capital and CPS and other city of Chicago departments.
Mientras nuestros hijos pierden sus escuelas, sus maestros, sus programas, las corporaciones como Loop Capital continúan haciendo millones de dólares para el sistema de escuelas de educación pública de Chicago y la ciudad de Chicago. Cada año la ciudad paga más de 72 mil millones de dólares para cobrar la pérdida de los toxic swap y acuerdos entregados entre los bancos y Loop Capital y el sistema de escuelas públicas de Chicago y la ciudad de Chicago.
We are here at Loop Capital to deliver a message to CEO Jim Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, the toxic swap deal must come to an end, and it is time to renegotiate.
Estamos aquí para darle un mensaje al señor Reynolds, los toxic swap. El acuerdo debe que terminar y es tiempo de renegociar.
Chicago school children don't have any more money to give you.
That's right.
niños de Chicago no tienen más dinero para darme.
We want to sit down with you, Mr. Reynolds, to tell you what is happening in Chicago public schools today and how critical the renegotiation of these swaps is for Chicago.
Tenemos que sentarnos con el señor Reynolds y decirle lo que está pasando en las escuelas públicas de Chicago hoy y qué tan critical es la renegociación de estos swaps para la ciudad de Chicago.
Our schools need more resources, not less resources.
That's right.
Right.
If these schools are not getting the money they need to even keep teachers in the classroom, why should Loop Capital and also Chase Bank and Bank of America be getting the money our children cannot get?
Nuestras escuelas necesitan más recursos, no menos. Si las escuelas no estuvieran dando el dinero que necesitan a los maestros y a los salones, ¿por qué entonces Loop Capital, Chase Bank y Bank of America están teniendo más dinero del que nuestros niños tienen?
After parents demonstrated against toxic swaps with Bank of America said neither CPS nor the City of Chicago had asked to renegotiate. If that is the case, that is a shame. The mayor was supposed to be looking everywhere for more money. Let's get this record straight, Mr. Reynolds. Please join us parents and community representatives to discuss how to end the swaps and put the money back where it belongs. In classrooms, libraries, parks for the children and communities of Chicago.
That's right.
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose city?
Our city!
Now that's where the money is going. While our neighborhoods and our children are going without, these corporations and banks are getting rich off of toxic swaps.
Ahí es donde el dinero va, mientras las corporaciones se hacen ricas, nuestros niños sufren sin dinero.
Now, just above me, you see a cutout in a depiction of Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Tenemos al alcalde aquí.
And if you see behind him, and all throughout his chest, you see the people who actually, or the corporations that actually control and own the mayor.
That ain't right.
Atrás de él vemos a las corporaciones que hacen lo que ellos quieran.
The mayor is owned by corporations like CME and Bank of America.
El alcalde lo tiene como el niño postal de las corporaciones.
And Alderman Ronald McDonald and Alderman Bank of America are those that are robbing from our children.
Y el concejal Ronald McDonald y el concejal Bank of America son los que le están robando el dinero a nuestros hijos.
Have we had enough of our children being robbed?
Hemos tenido suficiente.
Are you ready, Chicago, for real change?
¿Están listos para el verdadero cambio?
Let's hear from our union sister, Sharon Norwood from SEIU Healthcare, Illinois and Indiana.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sharon Norwood, and I'm a child care provider and a proud member leader of SEIU Healthcare, Illinois.
Mi nombre es Sharon Norwood. Soy un ama de casa y proveniente de esos valores y soy miembro de SEIU Healthcare, Illinois.
We've heard some powerful testimony today from our people, from the people of the city of Chicago.
Hemos escuchado buenos testimonios de la gente de la ciudad de Chicago.
How do you feel about city budget cuts that shut down mental health clinics and left people without mental health services?
¿Cómo se sienten los recortes presupuestales que cerraron muchas clínicas de salud y dejaron a la gente sin servicios mentales?
How do you feel about the mayor and his school board closing almost 50 schools in our city?
Más de 50 escuelas en nuestra ciudad.
How do you feel about CEOs getting $1 million bonuses while working people can't even put food on the table?
Los directores de compañías tienen bonuses de $1 multimillonarios cuando nuestra gente no puede ni siquiera comer.
Do you want change?
Yes!
Do you want to fight for change?
Yes!
¿Quieren cambio?
Yeah!
It's time to take back our city. It's time to take back Chicago.
Es tiempo de recuperar a Chicago.
We must fight.
Tenemos que pelear. Take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
We must continue to fight for a living wage, a dignified wage of $15 an hour. If you work in Chicago, you should be able to afford to live in Chicago. And that's also why we need to fight.
Tenemos que pelear por $15 la hora en Chicago.
We also need to fight for affordable housing. So our neighbors are forced out of our neighborhoods and out of the city. That's our home.
Tenemos que pelear por vivienda accesible porque son nuestros vecinos los que están afuera y ellos son nuestra casa.
We also have to fight for an elected school board. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen Rob Emanuel or David Battelle at any of my neighborhood schools lately, and I'm not sure they know what's going on, as well as the community, parents, and teachers.
They don't care!
So how can they tell us what's best for our children? It's our community who should be making decisions about our schools and our children's education, not former CEOs of the Chicago Board of Trade.
That's right!
Tenemos que agarrar un buró escolar representativo elegido por el pueblo. Hemos visto que el alcalde ha agarrado muchos de sus amigos a representarnos. Pero ¿cómo vamos a asegurar que ellos representen a nuestra comunidad, padres y maestros? Tenemos que necesitar a alguien que sea de nuestra comunidad que haga las decisiones para nuestras escuelas y nuestros hijos, no los directores de compañías o el buró de intercambio de Chicago.
For all these reasons and more, are you ready to fight with me?
Yeah!
Are you ready to take back Chicago?
Yeah!
Let's go!
Take back Chicago!
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
So the first way in which we can take back Chicago is to take the strings that are being pulled by corporations from Rahm Emanuel, and the people actually pull the strings and take back Chicago. Let's pull these strings off of Rahm Emanuel right now. Come on, Chicago, take back Chicago. Take back Chicago. Pull the strings. Take back Chicago. Take back Chicago. Take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago!
She's gonna introduce you.
All right, Charles, make it. Bring it home, Charles.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Jenkins, and I'm a leader with the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless and a community activist in North Lawndale community. And I am also a proud member of MAD, Men Making a Difference.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Charles Jenkins, soy un líder con Chicago Coalition for the Homeless y un activista comunitario en North Lawndale, en la comunidad de North Lawndale, y soy un orgulloso miembro de Men Making a Difference.
Are you all with me to bring to LaSalle Street?
Yeah!
Say it again. We didn't hear you. What?
Are you all with me to bring it to LaSalle Street?
Yeah!
Great. Now, on October the 28th, I had the opportunity to speak at a ribbon cutting ceremony for the first time ever, TIF-funded low-income housing.
I got it. Keep going. Keep going.
And that I believe to be the best way for the TIF funds to be used to help redevelop the blighted communities just like the one that I live in, North Lawndale. And that's unlike what TIFs are generally used for corporate America, and like the $50 million TIF funds that's going to help build a new basketball stadium for DePaul University. And that's not fair.
That ain't right.
And Mr. Mayor, you were not at this ribbon cutting ceremony, and you should have been.
That's right.
Where are you, and are you here today?
No!
Right. Well, we are here here today to deliver to you, corporate head, hundreds of postcards letting you know that we're here to take back Chicago.
Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago! Take back Chicago!
Now, we will deliver hundreds of postcards to the city council chambers. We are here today to say that we will march. We will go to the polls in February.
That's right.
In that city council, we will win a $15 minimum wage in Chicago.
That's right.
We will get the mayor to reorganize CHA and move people from the waiting list and into vacant CHA units. Over 13,000.
That's right.
And we will get the $4 million back into the Chicago mental health budget and reopen those 6 clinics that they closed. We will get an elected representative, school board. We will take back Chicago. Take back Chicago. Take back Chicago now.
Take back Chicago.
Now.
Yes.
Alcalde, puede ver estos postcards aquí, estas tarjetas postales. Esas tarjetas postales representan quién somos nosotros. Y nosotros vamos a entregar estas tarjetas para mostrar que nosotros no nos damos por vencido, que este es un movimiento, que vamos a ganar el mínimo de $15, que vamos a tener escuelas representadas por la comunidad y que vamos a tener vivienda para toda la gente. All right, Charles, let's make that happen.
Yes.
So, folks, as we get ready to leave today, I want to ask you a few questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you fired up?
Yeah.
I kind of preach once in a while. I really couldn't hear you. So are you fired up?
Yeah.
That's a lot better. Quiero preguntarles unas preguntas. Will you fight for an elected representative school board?
Yes.
That's right. Will you demand that the city council pass a $15 minimum wage that includes all of us?
Yes.
Will you contact the mayor's office to insist that CHA release its stockpile of cash so we can house 10,000 families before this brutal winter?
Yes.
That's right. Will you go to Springfield so Illinois can get a raise?
Yes.
And friends, will you bring everyone you know, every single person you know to the polls in February to vote for a city that takes care of all its people?
Yes.
That's what we're here for today. Estamos aquí para decir, esto es de nosotros y el compromiso es de todos. Las escuelas, los trabajos, la vivienda es de nosotros. This is our city, not their city. This is our time, not their time. So today, together, we take it to the streets. I'll see you at the polls in February. Los veo en febrero.